Hello everyone and welcome back to my official The GH24 News YouTube channel. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Before we begin, hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. At her place, Liz and Lucky's romantic cotillion is intruded when Rick drops by unannounced. He hopes he's not interposing. Liz asks what brings him by. He brings news that she's allowed back to work at GH, and Liz thanks him. Lucky pipes over and says they could use Rick's help and asks him to find out the terms of Cyrus' parole. Rick agrees to see what he can find out, but only as a favor to Liz. Rick takes off, and Liz asks Lucky what that was about. Lucky explains these are hopeless times, and they've to find a way to stop Cyrus one way or another. However, also he'll at least go back to jail, if they can find a way to bust Cyrus for violating his parole. Liz thinks he means to frame Cyrus. Lucky says he'll handle this on his own. Liz agrees that Cyrus needs to be stopped no matter what, so she's willing to help. At the Metro Court, there are gasps each around when Drew tells Carly that her cherished Jason knocked up Sasha. Carly accuses him of making this up. Drew reveals that Cody told him that Jason was the father. Sasha blows up, rushes over, and says her life is none of their damn business. Sasha says she is a pawn in Drew's Quartermain feud, and he knows nothing about her life or this baby, so leave them both alone. Sasha also storms out. Carly tells Drew that he'd no right to trash Sasha's character or sequestration and is fitting himself into situations that don't involve him. She says at least now everyone knows he's sleeping with his Horson's woman. And what kind of man he really is. Carly walks out, and Drew tells Anna he's sorry for the interruption. He reiterates he wouldn't intrude if she wants to arrest Sonny and Jason. Anna tells him using his position to impact a case against them would be unhappy. Meanwhile, the deception table gossipers about what just happened. Tracy is furious that Willow had Drew back on the grounds and wants to set effects straight with her. Brooke Lynn asks Tracy to let her handle that. Anna sits down with Felicia to talk about this development regarding Sasha. Felicia doesn't know who'll have the bigger stroke over Jason begetting Sasha's baby, Robert or Mac. Back at the deception table, only Maxie, Lulu, and Lucy are left. Lucy doesn't detest the idea of Sasha and Jason. Maxie says what Drew revealed tonight he'd no right to. Drew walks over, thinks his cognizants are burning, and asks to speak to Maxie. They step away, and she asks Drew what he needs. He needs a mama's advice. He reveals he bought a house for him and Scout, in city, as he didn't want to extract her. He needs a decorator, and she knows Sam's likes, which may console Scout to have a home that feels like her mama. Maxie tells him that he actually sounds like a great painter. And that she'd be happy to help. She looks at the specs of his house and notes it's veritably big. He explains it allows for growth. Anna and Lulu end up at the bar as Lucy runs around tattling. Anna offers to buy Lulu a drink, but Lulu didn't come over to see her for a drink. Anna assumes she wants commodity. Lulu needs to know where Jack is. Anna suggests she call his office. Lulu has a million times, so she'll presumably to just ask Carly put her in touch with him. Lulu asks Anna if she's heard anything about her son. Anna says she hasn't, and she doesn't suppose Jack is keeping anything from her moreover. All they know is Charlotte and Valentine compactly resurfaced in Germany. Learn further. Lucy meanwhile gabs to Felicia and Prodigies if Jason and Sasha will need a house. Alexis calls Molly and Christina over to her house. Alexis believes Danny needs to know the verity about his mama's murder before the media gets wind of it. Alexis asks Molly to go pick Danny up, so she departs. Alone, Christina tells her mama this is a mistake. She says Danny is a 15-time-old boy, they don't who killed his mama, and he could act out at this news. Alexis says the longer they stay to tell him, the longer Danny could learn the verity another way, and they could lose him if he hears this from someone differently. Nina drops by the Q's gatehouse, and Willow first assumes she's Carly, who has returned. Nina asks Willow if it's going well with the Quartermains. Willow wishes she was still living with Nina, but Nina thinks this is where she's supposed to be. She believes being then will allow everyone to cool down. Nina brings up her mentioning Carly before. Willow says she dropped by to bring her news on Michael and also faded when she went to make them tea. Brooklyn soon shows up and tells them Drew and Carly had a major blow-up at the Metro Court, and now, everyone knows Willow had Drew over. She explains that Carly set up a tie that he left then. Nina notes that explains Carly's abrupt departure. Brooklyn says there were rules about her staying then, and she could have met Drew anywhere differently. Willow says easily that living then has presented an issue, so she asks Nina if she can come back and live with her. Nina says she can. Brooklyn asks Willow to stop, suppose, and take a breath. She can stay then, just don't see Drew then. Willow says this is her home. Nina tells her son that a lot has happened to her lately, so she needs to take time on to be on her own and suppose about how to move forward. Willow agrees she needs to figure effects out but can do it while still seeing Drew. Willow states she's moving back in with her mama, and Brooklyn says Tracy will freak out. Willow says Tracy doesn't have a legal leg to stand on. In the Quartermain kitchen, Cody arrives looking for Sasha, but she's not around. Dante is drinking a beer and reveals he's been put on leave, and it turns out Sam was boggled. Cody says this is crazy, and he doesn't know what to say. Dante says he couldn't save Sam, so each that's left is to go after the son of the wine that killed her. Molly arrives to pick up Danny, and Dante heads up to get him. Cody tells Molly how sorry he's about Sam, and the two talk about how great she was. Dante brings Danny down, and Danny wonders why Grandma wants to see him. Molly says she'll explain when they get there. They leave, and Dante and Cody talk about how it'll be rough for Danny to find out about his mama. Cody thinks Dante needs to be there for Danny, but Dante says Danny has a father. Cody snarks, "A empty bone." Dante wonders what happened with him and Jason. Just also, Sasha saunters in and gives Cody a death regard. She asks Dante to give them space, so he leaves. Cody knows what this is about. Sasha asks where he gets off, telling everyone that Jason is the father of her baby. Cody says it wasn't everyone, and he isn't he? She states that it's none of his business and prodigies where he got this idea. He explains he saw them the other night at the boathouse, and he's sorry for caring about her. He admits he didn't take the news that they're related well, he allowed. It would be them planning a future. She didn't reply well either, and he asks if that's why she slept with Jason. She tells him it's none of his business. She yells affiliated or not, they're still musketeers, and he's being a crappy one right now. He apologizes, congratulates her, and walks out. Tracy arrives to speak to Sasha, but she doesn't want to hear what Tracy has to say. Tracy insists she'll want to hear this. She says if Jason is her baby's father, no bone will take her baby from her. Sasha points out she just tried to take Willow's kitties, but Tracy insists that's different. She assures Sasha that she has her full support to raise her child as she sees fit. Sasha was awaiting that and thanks her. Tracy explains she's a mama, too, and she loves her boys. She raised Dylan on her own, and as women, they earn to live their lives on their own terms. Tracy, still, says the baby daddy enterprise will get awkward when Jason gets home, so she should concoct a game plan. Back at Alexa's place, Alexis tells Christina they owe it to Sam to tell Danny the verity, because it's what she'd want. Ultimately, Molly arrives with Danny, and he asks what this is about. Cyrus arrives at the sanitarium, and Brad says he has been banned, so leave or he'll call the Bobbies. Cyrus insists he's only spreading God's word. Brad calls him a fraud hiding behind his Bible while trying to move the world. He's a changed man. He orders him to leave, and Cyrus storms out. Carly shows up at the sanitarium after getting a ton of textbooks from Lucas. He drags her into a test room and says Jack was just then as a case and that he'd a lot to say. Lucas asks if she's dating a WSB agent. Carly slyly lets out a perhaps. Lucas asks if they've slept together, and Carly says they haven't crossed that line. Lucas says they need to have the discussion they should have when she got together with Sonny. He tells her Jack is a WSB agent who'll keep effects from her, and she can't be with someone who doesn't tell her the verity. He tells her not to make the same mistake doubly and to take up with someone who lies for a living. Joss tries to pick the cinch to Cyrus' apartment but is caught by the super. She claims to be from the charge and Cyrus was supposed to leave her a key, and asks if he can let her in. She explains she works with brother Cyrus and needs the master list for the food drive. He unlocks the door for her and takes off to take care of some pipe issues. Joss sneaks into Cyrus' room and begins searching it. She finds his Bible with a passage marked when someone opens the door. It's only the super who asks if she set up what she demanded. She says she did, grabs a piece of paper, and walks out. Latterly, Cyrus returns home and notices his Bible has been moved around. He finds a dried flower in it and prodigies who has been in his place. Nina tells Drew that if he's looking for a fight, she's happy to oblige. Willow says, deep down, she was right. Lucas realizes Carly has no intention of backing off Jack. Joss meets with Jack and says she'll find evidence that Cyrus killed Dex.